Is this not how lobbying works? When I tell you I was shook when I heard that Victoria Burke said Blake did not deserve attorney's fees, I am not exaggerating. I kept having this vision of myself bracing against the wall because I just couldn't believe that somebody came out and said something that did not support Blake. We then saw her on a lot of different publications giving her interviews, saying the same things. And now we're having this conversation, which I think is essentially, is Victoria Burke an opportunist? Is she a hypocrite? Well, I have some thoughts about that. I'm Brianna and I'm a thinker. And dare I say I am the queen of nuance because I am always looking at it from multiple levels and often not the angle that you're looking at it from. So I do see what people see and then I see what I see. Victoria Burke is the architect of the Me Too law that we are currently discussing as Blake tries to use the bill 47.1 to be awarded attorney's fees for Justin Baldoni suing her last year over defamation. However, his claim was thrown out because it wasn't properly submitted, something to that effect. So Victoria thinks that this is not the correct application of the bill because it's not meant to give you a win. It's meant to actually protect victims who are being sued and dragged into litigation for speaking about what allegedly happened to them. And that's clearly not the case here. So in that way, she's not who it's for. Plus, Blake has not proven that the defamation case was submitted with malice. So for those reasons, she's out. But people feel that she's only coming out because she realized the con Blake was running on her. And if she hadn't realized that, she still would have let it seem like she supported Blake. She wouldn't have spoken out against Blake. So my thoughts on this are that I don't think Victoria was ever in support of Blake. Victoria was always looking for support for her bill. I think it's hard for us who have been over consuming this case content for the last year and a half to make the distinction that everyone doesn't have to be invested in this case. They don't have to care about who's right or wrong. So when she makes it clear that she was always invested in her bill being successful, that does not surprise me. I feel like that is appropriate. She has a right to have those priorities. And then when you consider the fact that she didn't want to now condemn Blake for the quality of her accusations or support Justin, that also feels consistent with where she's been the whole time. She's never had an allegiance to Blake. She's always had an allegiance to her bill. I saw her on Kirsty Flaw's show and she would not support Justin. She said that she doesn't know the facts and she's trying to stay away from that. She had been waiting for the information to come out in the lawsuit. As a lawyer, I'm not a lawyer. As her being a lawyer, I get why she says that. You can't really hitch yourself to something that hasn't been tested in court. I think a lawyer may feel a higher burden of doing that as opposed to you or me. Not to mention the amount of effort it has taken for us to be informed on this case. If she's doing real work of trying to get this bill through and whatever else she does to support herself, maybe she doesn't have the capacity to be as informed she feels she needs to be. But I also think that people feel that since she's a lawyer pushing this bill, she had a burden to know the facts of the case. I just don't think she did. I think that she had a different priority, which was getting this bill passed. To me, it sounds opportunistic, but I don't think that's wrong because the opportunity is to protect real victims. What I want to say is this not how lobbying works? don't lobbyist attached to whoever or whatever is going to support their cause, because that appears to be what this is. She has this bill, someone wants to come use it and support it. She wants to make that happen, and then she finds that the person is not making that happen, and now she wants to speak out about that. To me, that seems really normal. That seems like the way people operate in general. So I'm not really sure why we have this other standard for her. Early in my career, I worked at a children's hospital, and we had to go lobby at the Capitol and give politicians treats and stuff to get them to support our cause, which was more money. I hated the way that felt, because you can't complain about a children's hospital getting more money, but it felt like I'm buttering them up for them to think favorably about my cause. I don't really see this differently. Victoria Burke was willing to give Blake her ear for the sake of them both having mutual interest in this bill, even if it's not the same. That is how it works. And I think that because we're in this case, we don't have sight of that. And we think that it is a moral statement to be on one side or the other. But she's the architect of the bill. Her priority is the bill. Her priority is victims. So she's not going to bother with becoming informed about the bill. She's just worried about getting her bill out there. And as a lawyer, I think she probably doesn't want to start making statements about stuff when the case has not been tried. I think that's why she didn't want to say that she supported Justin or supported Blake. I think that's probably right for lawyers. However, I haven't heard any of my big three, NAG, Little Girl Attorney, or Teresa Concepcion, say those things. But that's my take as a layperson who holds a lot of space for nuance. So I don't think that she's grifting. I think she's playing her own game, and I don't think she has to care about the same things we care about. She cares about her bill, and she always has. And right now, caring about her bill means speaking out against the person that's trying to kill it.